Good morning. Welcome back. KDUZ Classic Hits and the MN Scorefeed Blitz. Former Vikings linebacker Chad Greenway joins us. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning. How's it going, Joel?
Doing very well. And boy, I know it's been referred to sometimes as kind of just that dull sports time. You don't have a whole lot going on, but it's almost it's a nice time too here in as we turn the calendar into July to just relax a little bit and maybe just enjoy the outdoors, I guess.
Yeah, it's obviously Twins season, and we're obviously heavily invested in that with our Great Up brand, and we're following that very closely. I know Twins territory is fired up for the season, how things are going. But for the most part, it's kind of turned into cabin season, to be honest with you. I mean, it's that time of year where all of us complain about the Minnesota winters and say this is our moment, this is our time to shine. So that's it. That and AAU basketball for the Greenways and soccer. So, but yeah, we're enjoying this time of year.
Yeah, I've heard a thing or two. You got a kid that's not too bad at basketball here. So summertime, I would guess for you guys, maybe not as much cabin and camping, a lot of hardwood in indoors.
Is a lot of hard courts indoors. Our 11-year-old Beckett is going to be a sixth grader, so we're actually just in Cincinnati for her for 4 days for AAU. So it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of fun to get home and enjoy this weather.
And I'm sure there's probably not a lot of comparisons between when you were a kid and when your kids are doing now, but it seems like back when we were all in high school and college and doing that, there wasn't as many summertime stuff. You had summer rec and you did a few things here and there, but now there's just a lot of things for kids in the summertime.
Yeah, it's sort of unfair, right? We look back at our childhood and how I grew up, and certainly in rural South Dakota. I did play AAU basketball one summer. It was going into my senior year. It was a great time, loved it, but it wasn't something that started in fifth grade, and ground through a bunch of seasons. And I often look at my own kids and be like, well, is this what you really want? Are you getting enough time just to be a kid? Are you getting enough time just to go ride your bike and see some friends and hang out by the pool and maybe get some chores done around the house, all those good things?
Now, you did mention the Twins. They are going on here. It kind of been an up and down June so far for them. I mean, this week has been up, last week a little bit down, so it's kind of tough to gauge the Twins right now, I think.
Yeah, it is. I think when you get off to a hot start, you put yourself in a great position, right? And I think that's nice. Is you get yourself positioned well. You feel good about the start. Now you settle into sort of that grind. And we actually talked about this about a month ago, is what's June and July going to look like, And you can tell it's a little bit up and down, like most of Major League Baseball. Every team's trying to kind of find their stride. And personally, I love what the Twins are doing. I love you're going to go through some ups and downs over a season that long and that many games, but they're holding strong. You guys got to get on these streaks and stay hot and get those bats hot, man.
Now, when you go through a season like this, because the Twins are kind of hitting mid-season here, does the monotony of a long season start to set in right now? Because you look at the calendar and there's still 3-4 months of the season, and they've already been going for 2-3 months already here.
Yeah, baseball's a different animal, man. It's wild how long the season is. It's hard for me to even comprehend as a football guy the length of their season and what they all have to endure, and quite honestly, it's impressive, especially with these guys that have families and are on the road so much. So, but they're used to it, especially these veterans who have been around the block, and they're used to this grind and the season. And I have to believe that when you kind of get into that moment, you start to thrive in that moment because you're used to it. And I think that's probably what you get a lot of these guys.
Now, I know a lot of what's going on now for the Twins is all-star balloting. They're trying to figure out who's going to be the all-star. I think there's a lot of players that deserve all-star berths, and I'm going to start right off with Luis Arraez. Maybe not the biggest quote-unquote star, but boy, that kid can hit, and he is, to me, has been the catalyst for the team.
Well, I just love to watch him take it back. I mean, I just think it's so fun to watch him hit and to watch his approach and to watch his patience and to watch just his sort of antics sometimes in the batter's box. They're so fun for me. It's just from a gamesmanship standpoint, to watch his approach. Then he just has that ability to hit, to get big hits, to have big at bats, to really grind down the pitcher, and love watching him hit.
Chad's going to stick around. We got one more segment to go here on the MN Scorefeed Blitz. We got a football team in their version of the Super Bowl. We'll talk about that coming up right after this. Back on the MN Scorefeed Blitz, I'm Joel. That is Chad. And unfortunately, Chad, you never got to play in a Super Bowl. But you can cheer on the Minnesota Vixen women's professional football team. They're in their version of a Super Bowl July 10th. That's nice to see a Minnesota team doing well.
Yes, it is, and know the Vixen really well. Spent some time around the team when I was playing, and even a little bit post-career. Always see them out at the state fair in their booth and say hi, and just a great group. I'm so excited they're doing well.
Now, I was looking, I admitted I haven't seen a whole lot of the Vixen here this year, but one thing I saw, they have the third-ranked defense in the league, and the old cliche is defense wins championships. Well, can their defense win a championship here next weekend?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'll obviously admit the same as I have not watched them play this year. I have seen them play, but it's not something I followed closely. I think it's great that they're getting pressed and they're in the conversation, and when it gets down to actually winning the championship and being in that moment, you always want to be able to go in and rely on a defense that's been so sound, and I think that's obviously something they have, and that's exciting. So I'm looking forward to watching and seeing the results.
Now they're playing the defending champions. Boston is the defending champions, Boston Renegades. Is it tough to in whatever sport, if you're going for whatever championship it is, football, basketball, baseball, and you're playing the defending champs in the title game, can that be tough to beat them since they have that winning experience already?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the biggest challenge you face, is you face a team that's been there, done that, understands how to win, knows what to expect, has been in that moment before. I'm not sure the crowd they get, but to play in front of a crowd that size, if it's a big crowd, it's different than for them. And either way, it's exciting, and you have the experience to go win that thing. And the other thing is just to be a part of that. Sounds like it'd be a pretty big blast for those women.
It should be fun. One other stat I want to make mention, Aaron Kelly, top-rated passer in the league for the Vixen. So you got a defense that's pretty good, and you got a quarterback that's pretty good. That can take you a long ways. Yeah,
and I met the quarterback for the Vixen here a few years back when the Super Bowl was in town, and just an impressive athlete. And I wonder if that's still her. She was an unbelievable athlete. I got a chance to watch her perform actually at a flag football event downtown, and a few of the Vixen were there, and just really impressive.
Best of luck. They have the hashtag Fear the Fox. So hey, hashtag Fear the Fox. Go Vixen coming up for the Super Bowl. I know it's on TV. I think it's on ESPN, whatever it is. So should be fun to watch them and cheer for them.
It should be fun, and if you get a chance, check them out. Yeah, it'd be fun. I know there's a lot of Minnesota homegrown products on that team, so I think that's fun to be able to track where these ladies are from and support them.
Sounds good, Chad. Hey, thanks for coming on the program today.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Joel, as always.
Thank you. MN Scorefeed Blitz here on KDUZ.